This is Chris Joyner, owner and pit master of CJ's Barbecue and More, located out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and you're listening to the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast.
Welcome to Black Smoke Barbecue. We are a collaborative group that focuses on different aspects of barbecue from pit masters from all across North America. Barbecue is a culture, and we discuss topics, ideas, and the methods of it on the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. Our mission is to spotlight those lesser-known content creators in backyard barbecue, catering, food truck operations, as well as the African-American experience in modern-day barbecue. Sit back, relax, listen, and enjoy the show. Okay, and we are live. This is Jeffrey Boyd, and you're listening to the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast, where barbecue is not only the code we live by, but the culture we embody. We got a great show planned for you today, guys, and we got a great guest. Glad to be back. And if you haven't done it already, be sure and subscribe to the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate all you guys' support. And also find us on Instagram, Facebook, follow, subscribe, do all those things, because we really appreciate all the support you guys have given us over these past couple of years. So we got a great guest coming up, and he's got a great story. Really wonderful person, and he's helped us out a lot in the past few weeks, but we're going to cover that later. But let's see who we got first on the pod today. Let's go to our resident fire starter down there in Texas, the Dog Father. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what up, though? How you doing, Geoff?
Man, I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm just, down here enjoying the weather. We finally got past a little bit of this rain. I think we're going to get a little bit tomorrow, but that should be it. We should be past it. I finally got the pool clear. We're not hiding any more bodies. So anything that's in the bottom of the pool, you can see it now. So we all good, man.
Hey, man, look, you better clean that up for them feds come out there, man. But look, I'm telling you, man, get them bodies out of there. But I see you had that new pit out, man. You went ahead and did that first cook on the Enfuego.
You saw that. Yeah, man.
Yes, sir, man.
I had to fire up the old Foes, formerly Fuegos. It's an Alamo Pro 120, and season up some of the parts to it. So I figured, you know what, I might as well throw a little something on here since I got it lit up. And we put some loin flap on there, man, and made some chimichurri tacos, and it came out pretty dang good, man. Loving that cooker.
Can you send the plate out this way? Can I get one?
Wait, hold up. You breaking up? What'd you say?
See, that ain't even right, man. That's okay.
Cold-blooded. That's cold.
Hey, in order for me to send you a plate, bro, that means we had to have leftovers. What's that?
Exactly. I ain't mad at you on that one. I ain't mad at you. Well, good deal, man. Glad you're doing good. Next,
yes,
we got Brandon from BKC Cooks with the luxurious Maine over there. How you doing, sir?
Man, me and the Maine are wonderful. I'm a little jealous because Alton got to his cooker before I did. So, I'm not sending well wishes and all that good stuff, man. I'm hating over here a little bit. I'm just going to be completely and totally honest.
Man, got the haterade going, man. But you look, I know you got one too over there. So I know you're going to be busting that thing out and having all those live fire smells coming from your backyard here in a minute.
Yeah, you know what? I got people coming in town next week. So I'm planning on firing that up, man. And just having a bunch of folks standing around that thing, cooking all types of stuff on it. That's the plan, man. So it's already put together. It just needs to have some fire in it, bro, and we'll be ready to go.
Good deal. And I saw that cook you did on that Louisiana grills. You broke that thing in pretty good too with the rib cook, right?
I did, and it was a fine rib. My daughter just came home. She just graduated college, so hip hip hooray! And ribs is her favorite.
Congrats,
so,
man!
Thank you. But I'm gonna throw another rack down for her tomorrow because I'm leaving town again Friday. I know, big surprise, but so yeah, I'll do another rack for her before I get out of here.
And we're gonna play the game of where in the world is BKC Cooks. I'm sure you'll fill us in on the next podcast.
We shall see. We shall see.
That man's passport ain't got room for any more stamps.
So, pro tip: they offer an extra large book. Always get the big book, man. Pro tip.
Yes, sir.
I didn't even
You
know
heard
they
it from
had
the
a
best,
different
ladies and
size book,
gentlemen.
man.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. You get like 10 extra pages, bro.
There you go. Good deal. Next, we have T from T-Dub Barbecue. How you doing this evening, T?
Man, what's happening? What's happening? I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. What you been cooking lately?
So the last time we recorded, I think I might have done some leg quarters. I did two of them jerk, and then the other two were Baja citrus. Had them marinating about probably might have been 2 or 3 days, I think. And man, the flavor was all the way down through the bone.
Oh man. Okay. Good deal, man. Good deal. Well, glad to hear about that, man. You got any other cooks planned upcoming?
I got a little something coming up. I'm not going to disclose it yet, but just be on the lookout.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Good deal. And we have Charlie from Maverick Barbecue. How you doing this evening, sir?
Man, I'm good, East Coast Geoff. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. I like the studio setup you got over there, bro.
I'm trying to grow up, do big boy stuff. That's all I'm trying to do.
Well, I see you, man. Look like you.
It. I'm sorry, Geoff. That's what we
I had to make up something. It's off the dome.
You
Hey,
know what?
well,
I'm gonna
look.
leave that for the Black Smoke After Dark. That's,
Yes,
I was
sir.
going to say,
Yes,
that's a
sir.
little borderline.
it was.
We gonna leave that one alone, and we just gonna skate right on past it. Charlie, you have any cooks coming up lately, or anything you had on the grill as of late?
Man, I've been trying out some lamb burgers, and I did a smoked meatloaf. I know that we talked as a group about doing a little collabo, but I had to test it out first. So I got some stuff coming in terms of reels and videos. So y'all take a look out for that. Charlie Maverick on all the socials. So yeah, man, I'm trying to keep busy, trying to avoid these bees out here in this heat. Just trying to stay alive and live well.
Hey, well, good to hear, man. Good to hear. Glad to have you on the pod this evening. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got a great guest tonight. At this point, I'm gonna just call him a friend of the pod because I mean, me and him
Wait,
been
hold
talking
up, Geoff. Hold up, Geoff. You ain't tell us what's going on in your neck of the woods. We want to know what's going on with Geoff too now.
That's right, East Coast Geoff.
Yeah, East Coast Geoff.
Yeah.
You know what, man? You know what? I went home for the weekend, flew home for the weekend, man. Didn't cook anything on the grills, just went out there and said hi. But I ate at some great places in Vegas, man. And back on the East Coast with work again. But enjoying it, man. Enjoying it. And I know you're gonna come. I know, look, I'm gonna go ahead and do a preemptive strike. I haven't broken out any crock pots or pressure cookers or anything else. We're just going ahead and I'm gonna jump on that bullet because I know you're about to throw it.
Man,
But,
I wouldn't even go say that, bro. I wasn't even gonna say that. I was going to ask you
everybody
that
else
you mastered that smoke flavor in that sous vide. I mean, because wow,
See, man. When they thought I was out, they got to pull me back in and got to come firing these shots over here, man. That's all good. That is all good, man. It's okay. It is okay, man. Alton, I'm glad you're doing well, brother.
Yeah, hey man,
I'm glad you're doing well.
Hey, we boys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But guys, we got a great guest on the show. I consider him a friend of the podcast at this point. He's really helped me out with a couple of things, and we've had some great conversations about barbecue and basically just the culture surrounding barbecue and the joy of barbecue and making that transition from corporate life to something that you really enjoy and that provides you some pleasure and some peace. This gentleman is based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, has a business that's doing great things up there. And, I think we may start a East Coast, close to West Coast type of war here when it comes to these oxtails, but I'm gonna let him tell that story because this gentleman really does cook a mean oxtail in addition to his smoked crack wings that he makes. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Chris Joyner of CJ's Barbecue and More from Charlotte, North Carolina. How you doing this evening, sir?
I am doing well, man. I feel like a celebrity. I'm sitting up here talking to the 5 heartbeats, and man, I'm telling you, only thing, only thing I was missing was Michael Buffer saying, "Let's get ready to rumble."
I mean, we could do that.
We can edit that in now.
I appreciate you guys inviting me, man. I'm excited to be here.
Hey, we're excited to have you. We're definitely excited to have you. We got to know you from Don Robinson, last guest that we had on. And let me tell you, man, Don had great things to say about you and said you basically, he didn't know you from scratch and reached out to you. And next thing you know, you've hooked this guy up. He's got a pit builder and everything else that's helping him along with his business. And that's what barbecue is about, in the sense of just helping folks, getting people where they need to be. And, you know, you helped me out in terms of getting a guest on the show. And within Don texting me, man, you hit me up within about 5 minutes. And then next thing I know, I got somebody texting me talking about, hey, we're good to go on this, man. So we really appreciate you and what you've done for the pod. And, you know, right now, let me tell you something, man. You taught me that 6 degrees of separation is a real thing.
That's right.
Because now I feel like, hey, look, if I need to get in touch with President Obama, I'm going to just call Chris.
listen. Well, you know, I'll take that. I'm connected a little bit, but the word on the street is that Geoff is the man you need to know. That's the word on the street. They say when he write a check, the bank bounce. That's what they say.
Oh, snap.
They say that's the word on the street.
It's all true.
So, but no, I'm real big on helping people. And one of the mottos of my life is, you know, life is all about loving, giving, and serving. And I wasn't the first one to go through this whole gate of transitioning into becoming from being a backyard barbecuer to a former pit master. But my transition, one of the things that I said that I would always do if anyone ever reached out to me to ask for help, advice, or suggestions, I would stop what I was doing and I would help them. And Don is one of the many people that have ever reached out to me about just trying to get into the business, learn a few things. So that's what I'm all about. I've done that a lot. It's not about uplifting me and trying to make me the best in the world. One thing I learned early on is this business of barbecue and catering, there are multiple lanes and there's plenty of room for everybody. As long as you stay in the speed limit, you can find your lane and you can do your thing. And that's what I truly believe. I don't hold no patents on anything. I don't start trash checking, but if you do start with me, I'm going to get you. But no, this is what I love to do.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, you want to cover, your career beforehand and how you got into barbecue?
Oh, okay. Sure. I actually, my background is in banking. I spent about 20 plus years after I got out of college, and I graduated from the South Carolina State University in 1992, attained my MBA from Webster University in 97, and matriculated into banking, did several different things in banking, branch manager, loan officer, community development, configuration management, IT, a lot of different things. And it allowed me to provide a living for my wife and my 3 kids. But being very honest, since I was about 15 years old, I have worked for somebody else. And I know I'm not the only one that's done that. And God gave me this vision about 17 years ago. And I just didn't know how to put it together. So what I started to do as my kids were growing, I would, cook at the concession stands at my son and daughter's, concessions. I would cook at church and I would do it all for free. And then I would have my ear to the floor listening to what people said. Cause one thing about this industry of cooking, you can run your mouth and talk a good game, but if you can't cook, if your food doesn't match what's coming out your mouth, people gonna talk about you. So
Preach.
I took a long time before I pulled that trigger. But after being in bank for 20 plus years, God told me, say, hey, go ahead and get your smoker made. And I connected up with Mr. Hezekiah Barnett, one of the greatest men you ever want to meet. And we can talk about him a little bit later, but he custom made a couple of my smokers. And he made my smoker that I affectionately call Zelroy. And I said, I'm going to do this thing part-time. And so I was doing it part-time, started in 2019, and business started picking up and growing. And in March of 2022, I put my exit strategy at the bank together. And I said, okay, all of 2022, I'm going to save up money to get my food trailer. And in 2023, I'm going to pull the trigger and I'm going to retire from the bank and I'm going to do this full time. I'm going in at it. Fortunately, but unfortunately for me, I got displaced from my job in March of 2022. I could have easily gone back. I'll never forget this. I was sitting at this desk on this laptop and I got a call from my manager. I've been displaced a couple times and, Chris, we're sorry. You know, your job's coming to an end, all this kind of stuff. I've heard it so many times. And I was cool. I was calm. I was collected. And I sat there and as soon as I hung up the phone, this is no joke, the Lord told me, you will never work for anybody else again. Go get your food trailer. So,
All right.
and I'm sitting there in shock. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't know anything about food trailers. I don't know how to pick them out. I don't know what I need. All this. But it's funny when God gives you a vision, he gives many people goals and dreams, but he only gives one individual a vision. When he gave me this vision, he already knew what he had planned for me. So he placed certain people and individuals in my life to where I learned what I need to learn in determining what I needed to do as far as next steps and then I pulled everything together. It's funny. I graduated from South Carolina State with a marketing degree, and this is a true story. I never used my marketing degree in my life until I started my business. It started, and I was wondering, how am I getting these ideas? And I realized God said, I saw this years ago. I'm going to put it all together for you. So I was able to get my trailer. It's funny. I met this guy on the internet and this is a true story and I'm going through it real fast because it's so much, but I had my trailer made in Mexico, driven to Eagle Pass, Texas, and delivered to my front step. And this was something that blew my mind. I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. But then I started learning a lot of stuff. Okay, I got to go through all these inspections. I got to get this and got to get that. And I wasn't able to pull the trigger and go full time until about March of 2023. And ever since then, I've been going full time with my trailer and catering since March of 2023. And it has been, I've been places where I didn't think I'd go. I didn't think I'd be catering for the entire Carolina Panthers organization or doing big tailgates around the country in different football divisions and stuff like that. I'm well known for certain things like that, but I'm at a place in my life where I'm happy. There's an old saying that Oprah Winfrey said years ago, and I didn't understand it until now. She said, when you make a living doing what you love to do is not work. And I could do this for free, but I'm just making a point. I want my money. But, I could do this for free. I wake up and I'm ready to go. I can cook, fall asleep, wake up and cook again. This is my true passion. And this is where I want to stay until the Lord calls me home. And I enjoy this. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy laughing. See, laughing is cooking. For me, laughing and cooking comes together. You know, if I can get you to eat, I get you to laugh, then we're going, whatever problem you got, it can be worked out. It can be worked out. But this is where I am. This is what I love to do. And just having this opportunity to talk to you guys, I never saw this coming, but I'm grateful. I'm thankful and, I'm happy.
Well, Chris, man, I tell you, we are definitely glad to have you on here. This is Alton from the Dogfather's Barbecue. And I got to ask you, I know that, when we're serving people food, whether we're doing catering or, just some events or whatever it is, you kind of tailor your menu based on the audience you're going to be serving. And
yes.
you just mentioned it, you were feeding the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
I know them boys can eat. So what was that like, having to come up with a strategy for, feeding people that can eat? And what did you serve them? And how was that whole experience, man? I want to hear all about that.
That was a great experience. And it's funny because everybody's been asking me when I announced it on Facebook, hey, I'm cooking for the whole organization. Everybody's like, man, you get that gig. Now listen, one thing about me, I have been told all my life I talk too much. I know this, but my aunt who showed me how to navigate this mouth, she told me, she said, a closed mouth won't get fed. And so don't ever be ashamed of your mouth. My mouth is taking me where places can't go. And I actually work hard to get that deal. I got a friend of mine I went to college with is a retired police officer, Eric Bowell. he retired, and one of the things he does in his spare time, he just drives a golf cart for the Carolina Panthers. And I said, Eric, I said, I'm trying to get a catering opportunity with the Carolina Panthers. And I said, you know anybody in charge of them? He said, I know one person, but I'm not sure. So he connected me with the nutritionist. And he said, I spoke to her and she said, send her an email of your information. I'm like, huh? I'm like, okay. So I got this spiel that I had when I'm introducing myself to new customers through email. I sent her an email, told her everything that I did, social media links, everything. And within 3 days, she emailed me back. She said, oh, this is awesome. I love to talk to you. Let's set up some time next week. We talk about some opportunities. And I was like, okay. And then we set up the time and we talked for a good 45 minutes. I told her about what I could do. She told me about what she was planning. They wanted to plan a big family outing for the entire Carolina Panthers. Players, family, management, everything. She said, won't do it in December. Can you handle it? And I said, well, yeah, sure. She said, how many people? I said, well, she said, it's going to be about 150 people. And I said, okay, yeah, I can do that. She said, you sure? I said, you're challenging me. I said, now I got to show you proof. So, I sent her some links of some other gigs that I did. And what I usually do when I send out a quote, I send the actual pictures of the food and the menu and everything. And we talked through all of that because certain people had, dietary restrictions. And so I put it together. I think the menu that I believe I had barbecue pork ribs, pulled pork, my cracked wings. I did my smoked oxtails. I did smoked beef, lamb, and chicken meatballs. I did grilled beef tips, mac and cheese, fresh green beans, baked beans, coleslaw.
Preach.
Yeah, lemonade. It was all these cats wanted to eat. And so I put it in there. And the only thing was I didn't get a lot of the footage that I wanted because they had, for proprietary reasons, they didn't want you to catch everybody on camera. So I got a reel out there that shows that whole setup. But, for one particular example, like Bryce Young, he eats certain food. So I had to separately cook him salmon and shrimp. And so that was cool. So, but the experience was great. I'd never been, at the headquarters of Carolina Panthers. You always drive by there, but we were in their they got like a private cafeteria area where, it's just everything was right there. I really didn't even need to bring a lot of my equipment because they had it there. But, I like 30 days before then, I drove there to get a good look at the facilities and everything. And we talked about, it was like an act of Congress getting on there. I had to almost get strip searched to get on the campus, but I didn't mind, but I knew that was coming. So I put together my staff. We went there. We were very professional. They absolutely loved the food. A lot of the players come to my trailer pull-ups that I have in Charlotte and they still eat my food. And I've been also now listed as one of their preferred, food truck and catering vendors now. So whenever they do have a catering need, they'll be calling me again this year. So that was a great experience meeting all of the coaches and the players, and they were just talking about the food. They left great reviews and I was just excited about it. It was a great opportunity. And, I'm just looking forward to doing more work with them, but it was great. It was great.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. Chris is Brandon from BKC Cooks, man. So to follow up about the Panthers, you said there was 150 people that you catered for.
Yes.
But as was just mentioned, those boys like to eat. So did you cater
Yes,
for
sir.
150 or did you cater for another number?
Well, when I cater, one of the things I say I never want to happen to me is it's where I run out of food, but I cook more specifically because I look at those type of opportunities. Even if I cook more than what we talked about in the invoice, there's a benefit of me doing this extra stuff down the line. And what I always do when I cater, I cook exactly what you want on the menu, but then I also will pick 3 or 4 side items that I will cook on the side. And I deliberately do this. And I don't have enough to feed everybody. I just have enough to get them worked up. And so I cooked some oxtails on the side, and I was walking around talking to them and asking them how they were doing with the food, how was everything. And I said, hey man, you eat oxtails? Hey, man, yeah, I eat oxtails. I said, I bet you never had them smoked. I said, man, no such thing. I said, man, come to my smoker. Come outside a little bit. Come outside. And they came to the smoker, and I would have people come to the smoker, and they would try to say, man, what is this? I said, man, this is smoked Oxtail, baby. I said, I know you ain't never had it. We don't even need to discuss that. I know you ain't never had it. And so I've done private caterings for some of the players. I've done pull-ups for some of them, and it's just great. But the funny thing was, you're right, those some big boys. Them some big boys, and some of them, because I told the lady that was over it. I said, now listen, I have prepared, a certain amount of food. My staff is prepared to give them certain portions. I said, once everybody goes through, then they can come back. Man, them rascals wasn't following no rules. I mean, you had them they would just come to you like this and hold the plate up. Give me some. And I looked at them. And I was like, some of what, everything. And some of them walking past with big plates. But I didn't mind it. I had enough food. I didn't run out of anything because I'm really good at determining how much we're going to have. But those cats ate, and when everybody went through the line, I told myself, listen, you can come back and get whatever you want. So I told my staff, when they come back, give it to them. Because I don't like to take stuff back. But it was so funny because they were trying stuff, and they were enjoying it, and they were talking about it, and that does my heart good. That lets me know, okay, I did well. And, they gave me one of the biggest financial tips I ever had in my life. And, like I said, I'm not in it for the money, but when you're doing it from your heart, and I'm a little bit different because there are a lot of people that do what I do. A lot of people have food trucks, a lot of pitmasters out there, but you got to be different if you want to be relevant and if you want your product to shine. So my success is in the prep. So I take time to prep my stuff and make sure I pay attention to the detail. And that always helps me set myself apart from everybody else. But the Carolina Panthers, them boys can eat, and it was a great experience.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's great.
I was like old grandmama in there. Go on, baby. Go on, get you another plate. Go on, baby.
Hey, that's a great story, Chris. And I think, that kind of speaks to who you are and the things that other folks have said about you, man. Let me ask you this, because when we talked before, you said you've had this oxtail recipe. Now, you've been doing that for about 11 years, right?
Man, listen, it's funny about that because right now oxtails have exploded. One, they've gotten too high. They're real high. The second thing is you have more people smoking oxtails now than I've ever seen. But now this is the thing. Now I know everybody knows Les Barbecue up in Texas. I've never met him. He's young. I'm older than him. I've never met him. Great young guy. I love his product. I love what he's doing. Everybody got their own lane. He's doing it probably bigger than anybody because he's now shipping them. I'll start shipping mine actually in July, but he's the guy that everybody knows. And it's so funny that whenever I post stuff, you now have people posting less in my posts. And asking me, these ain't candy red. I'm like, I know they ain't candy red. They're mahogany brown. This. I said, listen, I love Les. I said, but as far as I know, I have no one that's been smoking and selling them longer than I have. I'm just now getting into mainstream. Now, you can go back and look at all my posts. I got posts going back years and years smoking and selling oxtail, but I was doing it out of the back of my truck. I was like an oxtail pusher man. I mean, they were coming in. It was almost like they were getting drugged. That was before I had my trailer. I would smoke them, and then I had a system set up to where everybody would pre-order them, and I would go to a spot that I had in Charlotte, and they would come pick it up. And I was doing that for years and years and years. So I've been smoking and doing them much longer, and I got so many reels out there. But keep in mind, there is no competition. I have no competition. I'm not saying that because I'm being arrogant, because there's so many lanes to this thing for you to be unique. I don't mind. I've literally had people call me and ask me in different states, did they mind me cooking the oxtails? I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, I don't own this. I said, but I appreciate the respect. But these are people that knew I was doing it, and now you're seeing it all over social media. And I'm not saying that I did that. I'm not saying that at all. But I know from my perspective, I have been cooking them for probably 11 plus years and selling them. And people know me for the smoked fork tender oxtail king of the Southeast. And I take that. I take that.
Man, hey, that sound all right to me, brother. I mean,
Yes,
some good old oxtails.
Yes,
Come on.
It's different when you get them smoked now. I'm telling you.
Oh, I know.
You get them smoked.
Hey, I know I've been doing it for quite a while, too.
Chris was running the Oxtail Trap House down there, man.
Yeah.
I sure was.
Hey, back in the boom boom room.
Man, listen. I would go to a spot, there's a food line here in Union County. I would go to the parking lot, and before they even got home, I had this one lady, she picked up her order, and she said, well, I'm going back to Rock Hill. And she got on 485, there's interstate here. And she had only left 5 minutes before. She pulled over, called me back within 8 minutes. She said, Chris, she said, I didn't even make it home. She said, the smell that was coming through the package, she said, I pulled over and just tasted a bite. And she said, I had to pick up the phone and call you. She said, this is a problem. She said, this is a problem. She said, I've never had anything. I was dying laughing because she didn't even make it home. But when I hear people talk like that about my food, that just gives me energy. That just gives me love. And that's similar to me getting a check when my customers come back and say, man, that food was outstanding. I love to hear people say that. So, I've had a journey. I actually started cooking them when they were actually $3.25 a pound.
Wow.
But now they're up to like, they're now up to like shucks, close to $8 almost.
Yeah.
And when I go up on prices, I had to tell my customers, listen, I'm not going up because I'm trying to be greedy. I'm going up because my supplier is going up. But, I tell my customers, if you got to ask me how much oxtails or brisket cost, you don't need to be eating. Because you
exactly.
You need to understand those are two of the most expensive meats out there. If you have to ask how much it costs, then baby, you need to go to pulled pork.
Yeah.
Because, my price is my price. I mean, I
Cost
can't.
what it costs, man.
It costs what it costs. I don't try to hit people over the head either, but it costs what it costs. I know what I bring to the table. So it took me a while to do that when I first started. I was just taking everything. My wife was like, you charge what? You ain't making no money. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. So I had to get out of that. I had to think like a businessman because I went from working for someone to being an entrepreneur. There's a big difference.
Hey, well, Chris, I tell you what, man, Charlie, don't kill me for this one because I want to sneak this question in. I know we're pushing up close to a break, but I got to ask you this, Chris, because you mentioned this earlier a couple times and I'm intrigued. You talk about them crack wings. Hey, man, I want to get addicted. Tell me about it.
Well, let me tell you something. Now, them crack wings, I've been cooking them for about 20 years. Now, I was just minding my business when I was just a backyard barbecuer, cooking wings. And all of my recipes, rubs, I generate myself. And I came up with that recipe over 20-something years ago. And I would sell them at concession stands at my church. And I would just sell them. And people would eat them and they would take a bite. And they was like, man, what you got in this crack? And I didn't think I didn't think like they were thinking. And they kept saying the same thing over there and crack. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to call them crack wings because it's the sauce. Cause I marinate them for 24 hours, grill them, then I smoke them. Then I put that crack wing sauce on. And it's I know a lot of people cook their wings and they're kind of crispy on the wing, but no, mine are soft, tender with a light hint of smoke over it. And I normally don't tell my recipes, but I tell a few techniques. But one of the woods that I like to mix my woods, I use hickory and pimento wood on them. Now, pimento wood is not cheap. You have to order it off a line, but you don't need as much. And that's kind of how that story became. My customers came up with that name. And, one guy was like, man, they're just like Lay's potato chips. You just can't eat one. And so I was like, okay. I said, but that was my biggest seller until the Oxtails came in. They run a close race right now. I sell a ton of those a week. And, that's kind of how that came about. The crack wings came back. My customers gave it that name by over 20-something years ago. So I've still been, like I said, I've been pimping them ever since.
I like that. I want them both, man. Hook me up.
Man, listen, I can tell you, coming to Country Style.
I wish, but I got an event that week.
Well, I'm gonna tell you when whoever in this group is going. Okay, when they come back and tell you about it, I bet you won't miss it next year.
I know. Hey, go.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I'm gonna get you some. I'm gonna get you some. I'm gonna ship you some.
All right.
Hey, well, I'll eat your share next month when I head down there to South Carolina.
If he don't, I will.
Yeah, for sure. But guys, we're gonna sit up here. We're up against a break, so we're gonna take a minute here and pay some bills. But you're listening to the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast, and we will see you on the other side of this break.
We like you to meet Sweet Charlene.
the barbecue seasoning created from family bonds that is low in sodium but high in flavor. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a seasoned pitmaster. Level up your barbecue game with this dry rub that has amazing taste and great color. Go to EddieWrightBarbecue.com right now and order your choice between the 6-ounce shaker bottle, the 16-ounce bag, or my favorite, the 32-ounce bag, and start rubbing your beef, pork, and poultry the right way.
A revolutionary new grill brush is here, designed to eliminate the dangers associated with traditional wire bristle brushes. Meet the Boyer brush, which will make cleaning fast, easy, and safe. The rust-proof stainless steel spring bristles are designed to withstand failure and last for many years. The Boyer brush is crafted with a heavy-duty, all-metal design that is dishwasher safe. Cleaning your grill with the Boyer brush while hot will provide effective cleaning without bristle loss danger. With a long handle for two-handed pressure that provides rapid cleaning that's easy and safe, it's time to say goodbye to the dangers of traditional grill brushes and hello to the last grill brush you will ever buy. Get yours now at BoyerBrush.com. Welcome back to the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. This is Jeffrey Boyd from Outdoors with Geoff, and we have our guest Chris Joyner here. And T from T-Dub Barbecue has a question for you, Chris.
Speaking of country style, what is that experience like?
Man, let me first just say, I am so in love with country style. The only way I miss that, I got to already be in heaven. I'm just gonna tell you now. You know, I love it because it's Father's Day weekend. I ain't got to answer where I'm gonna be. Okay, this is my Father's Day gift to myself. You don't have to be there.
I'll be back when I'll be back.
This is my gift. But I found country style back when they call it the grilling. I think it's grilling and chilling cook-off or something. They had a couple names back in 2019. And the first time competing, that was my very first barbecue competition. I didn't know anything about competing, but I also knew that it was important to find out where I stood against my peers. If I'm in a little small circle and everybody's saying, oh, you good. But if you really want to be out there, you need to find out where you stand against your peers. So I said, I'm just jumping in with both feet. I think back then they had maybe like 20 teams. It was much smaller, probably no more than about 500 people came. Out of 21 teams, I finished sixth my very first time competing. And the first thing God told me is that you belong. I tried to tell you belong. So from there, I started competing in other competitions, sanctioned barbecue competitions, KCBS, SBN. And, you know, I was getting confident. I said, I want to find out where I stand. And I've been blessed to be one of the country style pitmasters and watch it grow. Now I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to give Art Fennell his flowers right now because Art Fennell is providing a platform for the backyard barbecues to come out in the backyard. Yeah. And he's giving them a platform and he's showcasing some great talent. I mean, some of these cats are ballers. One particular guy, Desmond Goins, he actually probably competes more in barbecue competitions than I ever knew, than most people. And he actually, finished fifth in the SBN state standings in South Carolina. So he was the fifth best, barbecue cook team in South Carolina. So, but that was his thing. He grilled. But country style, it's a lifestyle. It is so much fun. You get it, besides the fellowship, you're competing, you're learning, from all the other, pit masters. And man, you want to talk about laughing and having fun. I mean, the trash talking is on a whole nother level. If you sensitive, don't come down there. Tell you, if you sensitive and you got a pit team, don't come down there.
We saw the videos.
Yeah.
Y'all talk trash.
You sensitive? No. I mean, because my smoker, which is gas, charcoal, and wood, I never get the first day I drove down there. Oh, Jism, one of the main characters on there. Man. I rolled up. And now he old now. I expected my elder, but I told you I don't start nothing. But if you mess with me, I'm gonna get you back. He come rolling up and see, I had a propane tank on the side, but I usually use that just to keep my food warm. As soon as I pulled up, he told me, you know, we don't cook with gas down here. I said, man, I don't come to McDonald's telling you how to flip burgers. Don't come telling me that I went in. And he looked at me and said, I like you. I like you. I said, all right. I said, all right. I said, you got the right one. But when I did that, it was like I met all of the characters down there, met everybody. They will help you. You're going to laugh. You're going to have fun. It's a family atmosphere. And it feels good because most barbecue competitions don't look like us.
Yeah,
Most
that's
folks,
true.
and I'm not saying
Yeah.
that to be a knock or anything, but this is an environment where it's wall to wall, sea to sea of us at the highest level. I'm watching where it was just pitmasters from South Carolina. Then it grew to South Carolina, North Carolina. Now you got teams coming from Tennessee, Colorado, Florida, Texas, and they're bringing campers. And a lot of the people that follow you on social media, they actually come down to see you just to try your food. I did not know how many people follow me. Just true story. One, I was cooking at Country Style and they were serving the ribs. And this lady walked up to me and she said, I want you to sign an autograph for me. I was like, what? What's an autograph? She said, yeah, we follow you on social media. I want you to sign an autograph. I was like, are you serious? She said, but I want you to do it in a different way. I was like, wait a minute, man. Wait a minute.
Yeah, where's this going? Well, hold on now.
Married man.
This
Hold
is
on,
a
in trouble.
family show now.
At the time, it was just me and my son. And she said, I want you to sign my t-shirt with barbecue sauce. Woo, boy, I fell out. I was like, you want me to do what? And I got a clip of that where I'm signing this lady's t-shirt. I dipped my finger in the barbecue sauce and was signing it. And I told my son, I said, son, record this. They ain't gonna believe this. They ain't gonna believe this. And I was signing. I was like, wow, so man, we follow you. Your food is so good. I was like, why? And then because I thought about what my grandmother told me. You never know who's watching you. You
True.
may not have a whole lot of followers or the followers that you want, but you never know who watches you. So last year was one of the years that they allowed the pit teams to sell food down there. So I thought I had enough. I really did. I had like 3 cases of oxtails and I sold like 30 jumbo turkey legs. When I put the sign out there that what I was selling, I sold out of everything in 45 minutes.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I said, oh my God. So this year I'm bringing a plethora of oxtails. I'm bringing at least 15 to 20 cases and 100 jumbo turkey legs.
Oh,
and I'm
yes,
hitting
sir.
over the head. And I told him, I said, first come, first serve. When it's gone, it's gone. And, but I love it. One of the best things about this competition is it's different than any other competition. Like in most barbecue competitions, they don't even want you to talk when you bring your plate up. You just drop it off and go on. At Country Style, when you bring in your ribs up there to be judged, they give you 2 minutes and they're going to ask you questions and you got to talk. Tell them, okay, tell me about how you did it. Tell me what wood you cook. I love that. That's a different platform because you know, people, we like to talk. And so he gives everybody 2 minutes. And then with the brisket and the wings that they're doing, the teams come around and they sample them and then they ask you questions about your food because they want to know if you really, that's one way of them telling whether, did you cook this or somebody else cooked it? But I love that aspect of it because it's different than these sanctioned barbecue competitions. And it's just a great atmosphere and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about Don Robinson being my sidekick on it because my regular guy, Mr. Ronald Slim Massey, he can't make it. But so Don stepped up and he's going to be rolling with me, helping me do that. But you guys, I'm so excited for both of y'all, for all of y'all that's coming because it's going to be a great atmosphere. And it is, in my opinion, the best barbecue competition in the Southeast, in my opinion. And it is the best platform to showcase Black backyard barbecuers. And I'm glad to be a part of that.
Well, Chris, got a question for you on that. You had mentioned, competing in sanctioned events and I've got quite a few friends that, are the who's who of the competition world and KCBS and, all of these things. And, I've even gotten to judge some of this stuff before. And I know that with a lot of these sanctioned events, this ain't barbecue you can sit around eating, with the stuff that they do to it and flavor enhancers and this and that and the other. I've never been to Country Style. So my question is, how is that different as far as, you being able to eat the food? Cause you mentioned backyard barbecuers being able to eat the food at Country Style versus going to a sanctioned event where you literally only want to, take a bite and be done with it.
Yep. Well, the big difference with country style is like most of these sanctioned events, it's mainly about technique and presentation. And flavor is in there, but it's not the highlight of it. At country style, your flavor got to be on point or you're going to get talked about. Your flavor got to be on. People are coming from all over the country just to try your food based off of what they see on the internet. So flavor is the key. But now I will say this, some of the historically already kind of sanctioned in country style pit masters understand the importance of taking your style, your flavor, and adding technique to it so that you can be successful in these competitions at country style. But now for the new teams that will be coming in, competing in country style, a lot of them, and they learn quick, a lot of them come in because they come from their small backyard. Everybody's been blowing them up. Man, your food tastes good. But a lot of times, and I hate to say this, they come there and they are prepared from a flavor standpoint. But when it's time to compete, they do not put the time in from a technical standpoint, from what the judges look like. But the good thing is with country style is once you come one time, you will learn what you need to do. And as far as from a flavor standpoint and a technical point, when you bring those together, now you're prepared to go out and compete with these sanctioned competitions. These sanctioned competitions is all about that. But to me, the sanctioned competition cannot compare to country style because country style, the most important thing is the flavor. Then you got presentation and all that kind of stuff, but they weight the flavor a lot more. And when I tell you that you're going to taste some of the best barbecue you've ever had, because sanctioned competition, a lot of the times the barbecue is not that great. It just fits within the parameters of what they're looking for to win, to be first place. To give you a good example, to me, it never made sense. If you were at a KCBS championship contest or SBN contest, and let's just say someone wins the People's Choice Award, but then you don't place, to me, that makes no sense. To me, that makes no sense because there should be a connection. There should be a connection. At country style, it connects. If you win People's Choice, then you're probably going to place within the top 10 at least. So that's one of the things I don't necessarily prefer about sanctioned barbecue competition because when you compete there, it's very technical. So you got to get in the mindset of, okay, I got to stay within these rules if I want to place. Give you a good example. I competed in a KCBS. I've only done one KCBS barbecue competition about 2-3 years ago. And I was cocky. I was really cocky. I was coming through country style. I was like, man, you can't tell me nothing. I was talking to my buddies. I was like, man, I'm going out there and do my thing. I ain't following no rules. None. I ain't following no rules out there. I know my food. And when they were serving the food, I had a long line of people eating my food, everything. So I just went down there and did it Chris way. But now it was 2016. I ended up finished 23rd. Man, my feelings were hurt. It was hurt. But the good thing was when they gave me the feedback sheet, I saw everything that I did wrong. And everything that I did wrong was outside of their requirements of KCBS. So now, the next time I go back to that competition, I'm going to follow all of the rules and add in my taste and flavor. And of course, I'm going to win. But if I don't win, I should place very well because I now know I've learned what I need to do to be successful in KCBS. It was hard enough. That's why I share with everybody. When you ask me something, I don't mind sharing it. I'm like, let me tell you, this is what you need to do. This is what you don't need to do. So I've learned from hard knocks, from jumping in with both feet. But country style, the food, the presentation is important, but the flavor. And they will talk about it. I've had people even come around. When the customers come around, they trying the ribs, and I hate when they do that. I hate when they talk about other pit teams' foods. But I have had customers come around, and they will be eating somebody else's rib while they standing in front of me waiting to get mine. And they was like, man, you see this rib here? This is pure trash. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I said, do that. Don't do it. I'm just telling you the truth. I said, no, come on now. So I'm sitting at my grandma. You talking about them behind their back? You might be talking about me too. So I was like, don't do that. But I'm telling you, that's how country style is. The customers are going to let you know. So I would tell you while you're down there, keep the camera rolling. Cause you're going to hear some stuff.
Oh, we will.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to hear some stuff, but I love it. I love it. But country style is giving a platform to those backyard barbecuers, and they tell them, hey, come out of the backyard. You deserve to be in the spotlight. And like Art said, they're expecting almost 10,000 people to be there. I went there when it was only 500. But the country style is it.
Chris, you hit up on a point earlier about marketing and things of that nature. And we know this competition side, it comes with, you got to put some money into it, but you picked up a pretty big sponsor. And for those that are on the East Coast, I mean, everybody knows Rick Hendricks from the dealership network, but also from the NASCAR side, as far as Rick Hendricks Motorsports. Talk about that, because you usually don't hear about that side. People usually think of just like charcoal or, maybe a protein sponsor or something like that, but you got a huge sponsor there. You want to kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Now, as I said, this is a vision that God gave me years ago. And I'm going to be honest with you. I wake up every day and the Lord gives me a list of things to do. A lot of time when I first started, like, why you want me to do that? Why you? And I've stopped asking. I just do. This is a true story. 2 months ago, he said, okay, I want to start getting you some sponsorships. And I was like, huh? What do you mean? He said, just follow my lead. And so I had a friend of mine that's in the business. He had a sponsorship with the Good Charcoal Company. And so they reached out to him and said, hey, we've been following you. They've been looking for ambassadors because they're trying to kind of compete against the big Royal Oaks and everything. So Lord says, you know what? Go on the website, pull up the information, send them an email, give them a spiel, tell them what you do. And I did that. I gave them all the information. I shared it with them. And within 3 days, they wrote me back. Hey, we also follow you too. We love your content. We want to talk to you about being a brand ambassador. And I was like, huh? I thought, okay. So I talked to the contact person. They told me everything. All they wanted me to do is just share my content on social media, tag them, and I get all the charcoal that I want. So I'm like, okay, I'm down. I signed the contract. Next thing I know, I had a partnership with the Good Charcoal Company. So I was like, okay, let me look around and try, because I drive a Dodge Ram 1500 to pull my trailer. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try to hit a dealership, because this is something I thought of. I said, what if I can get a sponsorship from a dealership and I could spin it as if, okay, I'll come and feed everybody at your dealership if you service my vehicle for free. Anything that goes wrong with it. That's going to be a money and cost savings to me. So I just went in. I first went to the Dodge dealership and they wanted to try my food. They loved it. And then the service manager, I don't think we can do that. I don't think we do that. That's not in our contract or whatever. And I looked at him. I was like, are you sure? He said, no, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. I said, so are you saying that I won't be able to find a sponsorship from a dealership? No, you probably won't. I said, okay, you're challenging me. I said, okay. I said, so I already had like a partnership with the Lexus dealership. I pulled my trailer up there and feed the employees. So the Lord just said, hey, go there and ask for the business. Closed mouth don't get fed. So I rolled in there and I had a menu printed out. I told them what I could serve their employees, what I can give them. I said, you just service my vehicle. And this was a 10-minute conversation. And then within 10 minutes, the Rick Hendrick of Charlotte, that dealership agreed to be my sponsor and service my vehicle at the Lexus dealership. And so now I don't have to worry about general maintenance on my car, checkups and stuff. And people like think, that doesn't make sense. I said, but from what I do, as much as I drive my vehicle, to have a organization that say, hey, we're going to make sure we check out your vehicle. You don't have to pay us anything. Just come feed our employees. I said, that's a win-win. So, and I actually just closed that deal just maybe like 3 days ago, on Monday.
Congratulations.
And so that's another
awesome
thing that I would like to share with anybody that's getting into the business. Think out of the box. Think about ways to save you money. And so now what I'm going to be able to do, and I'm going to make me a master list. And next week, I'm going to go hit the payment. And I'm going to go to different companies. And I'm going to ask them anything that helps. I'm going to Lowe's. I'm going to Home Depot. The only thing they can say is no. But that's helping my bottom line for me not having to do certain things. And it feels good to know that I can take my truck in to get inspection, get tuned tires rotated, fluid, oil changes, all that kind of stuff. I don't have to worry about that. So I thank them, and we formed a partnership, and it's a good relationship. And right now I have 2 sponsors. I don't know too many barbecue teams, or pitmasters that have sponsorships like I have. Most of the time you're right. It's usually around barbecue type items, but I was thinking out of the box. And so I'm hoping someone hears this and it's like, and just take my advice. Think out of the box. You have to be different.
So I got a question for you, kind of pivot. So we heard about all the good food, the oxtails that you make, the wings.
Oh,
You got you're cooking for the Carolina Panthers. But I want to know, tell us more about the pit that you use to produce this good food.
Oh yeah. I actually had my pit custom made by a great gentleman by the name of Mr. Hezekiah Barnett. He's made a couple of grills and pits for me. He is a master welder and he teaches welding at York Tech. He's been doing that for over 30 years. We connected with each other probably about 10 or 15 years ago. He made my first barrel grill. And I mean, I cooked that thing into the ground, to the bottom cooked out of it. And I said, I need you to make me another one. And then he made me another one. And I ended up making probably 3 or 4 barrel grills. But he custom made this particular smoker. And I had an idea for a smoker. My smoker is not a typical offset. It's a indirect type smoker. It's 300 gallons. But I wanted something because I had a vision. I wanted something that would be efficient for me when I'm catering. So that this particular smoker, it can hold coal, charcoal, wood, and then it has a gas line running from end to end. And people say, why would you need that? So I knew in the future that when I catered, I wasn't going to be able to have a kitchen or something outside to keep my food warm. So what people don't realize is I had it made. Whenever I do all of my cooking, I cook it on the trailer or I cook it on the smoker. And then when I get to my catering spot, all I would do, they think I'm cooking the food on the spot when the food is already ready. All I'm doing is turning on the gas and warming it up. So when you open up my smoker, it's just a big oven. And so it allows me to travel because a lot of times when you're doing catering, you don't want to keep adding wood because you got to let it cool down before you hook it up and pull to go back home. I don't have to worry about that. If I'm cooking on site, when the coal and the wood burns down, it's already burnt down to where I can travel. And then I turn the gas on. I keep everything warm. But my smoker, I affectionately call it Zelroy. And the reason why I call it Zelroy is because I named it after 2 special people in my life. One, my grandfather, which was my hero. His name was Zelly Scott. He always taught me, he said, go get what you want out of life. As long as you can afford it, don't worry about what anybody else think. Get exactly what you want out of life. And then, my father-in-law, which unfortunately he's deceased. His name was Leroy Lipsy. And he loved to cook barbecue. His barbecue is probably the best barbecue outside of mine that I enjoy. And I wanted to honor both of them, and I affectionately call my smoker Zelroy. Part of their names. And so that's where that name came from. But my smoker is very unique. It has 2 burners on it where I can fry fish on the side, has a prep table, and it's versatile. And then plus, I think you were asking me, Geoff, about the actuators on the side. That's one of the things about Mr. Barnett. He comes up with great ideas. I had an idea. He took my ideas, added his, and he put 2 actuators, 2 shocks on the side. He said, this is going to be real heavy. He said, let me show you what it does. And he put a latch on it and you just hit it and that thing raises up like a darn spaceship. I done that passed out when I saw it. I was like, oh, I'm going to change the game with this one. I said, because I don't know anybody that, I think you mentioned not too many people have that, but that's one of Mr. Barnett's signature features that he puts on all of his big smokers. And he puts those shocks on so you don't have to lift it up. You don't have that counterweight balance at the top. When I do that, man, I tell you, it saves a lifetime. And that smoker, I'm going to tell you, the only thing I've had to fix on it in 6 years, I had to replace the shocks once. And that was it. I've never had to fix anything on that smoker. But that smoker has taken me places where I never thought I'd go. And when he made it and I picked it up and I looked at him, I said, Mr. Barnett, you have created a monster. I said, watch what I do with this smoker. And I give him credit. I would not be where I am today if it was not for Mr. Hezekiah Barnett. And I know a lot of people say, well, where you learn how to cook? I learned how to cook homemade food from my mother, Rosa Joyner, and my grandmother, Georgia Scott. But I actually taught myself how to cook barbecue over a 20-year span by process of elimination. YouTube is a great university. I learned a lot from YouTube. And so that's kind of where that came from. But my smoker is a custom smoker and I love it. It's indirect. I don't use a lot of wood. People think, I don't use a whole lot of wood because I do indirect. So I love it. It gives me flexibility, and it's brought me much success.
Yeah, Chris, that pit, let me tell you, I used that footage in some B-roll, man. And you
Okay.
hit that lid, man, and that thing come up, look like something out of a movie, man. You see the smoke start billowing out and everything else, man, and those ribs shining on there. I was like, okay, I've never seen a pit like that.
Oh yeah, I love that. I want to give just a real quick shout out because it's important. I believe in giving credit where credit is due. I have a barbecue family, and when you come to Country Style, you'll meet all of them. They'll all be there. But I want to mention them specifically because these are a group of guys that we are a family. We help each other. They've helped me. I've helped them. But I just want to give them a quick shout out because these are guys that are just as good, if not better than I am. And I don't go around thinking I'm the best, but I believe in giving credit where credit is due. You got Trey Gardner of Goat Gardner Barbecue, Carlos Jackson of Hamskin Barbecue, Desmond Goins of Daddy Blues Barbecue, Wesley Whistling of Wild West Fusion, Chris Armstrong of Triple B's Barbecue, Tori Shannon of Tasteful Creations and Catering, Vincent Wade all the way out in Texas, Big Vince Barbecue, Don Robinson of Don Rob Barbecue, Ben Rogers, that's a bad man, of Metro Smokehouse, Stephen Strong of Big Wally's Barbecue, Alfred McDonald of Spoonfare Barbecue, and Bruce Yeoman of Nothing Fancy. All of these guys have inspired me, helped me, or either vice versa. And we're a big family. And every name that I mentioned these guys are the best at what they do in their location. And they'll all be at Country Style. And you're going to be able to meet these good guys. These are my true friends. If they ever called me, I would be there. We help each other. And I love those guys. Those guys got great business and they're just as great as I am. And I just want to give them the respect and love that they deserve.
Good deal, man. And I've heard some of those names before as well. I wanted to ask you this, because living in Carolina for some years and then living in Georgia swears up and down they the best on the East Coast when it comes to barbecue.
Here we go.
It's one of those things. What do you, in terms of the barbecue in Carolina, what's your take on that? And do you have anything palate wise where you try and aim toward that, or do you just go ahead and do your own thing and focusing on the flavor?
I do my own thing. And I'm going to start off by saying that I have an opinion that's probably, I think people would understand it, but some people might not necessarily agree. I don't subscribe to a certain region of barbecue. My flavors, seasonings, and rubs are all generated as a combination from multiple regions within the United States. And there's some cultural regions. I have some Asian flavors in mine so that when you taste mine, you'll taste a little bit of everything. I don't say mine is just all vinegar based or sugar based or tomato based. It's a combination of all. And I know there's a lot of people that love to say, oh, you only need, or if you put sauce on it is covering up mistakes. Oh no, you don't cook it that way. You should cook it this way. You know, the way that I look at it, and I hope people don't take this wrong. How dare you tell me or anybody else what my taste buds should like or what it should? How you gonna tell me that?
Tell him. You tell him, man.
I think it's a preference. It's a preference. So I don't subscribe to, Carolina is better than Georgia or election. No, I don't subscribe to none of that because I got a combination of all of that. There's room for everybody. And I respect everybody's palate. Believe it or not, there's some people that think that salt and pepper, that's all you need. No, I mean, that's one way, but that's not net. I think when you just say salt and pepper, you're leaving some flavor off the table if that's all you use. But I'm okay if you use salt and pepper, but that's not the only way to season meat. That's just, in my opinion, there are many ways to cook. That's the type of guy I am. I believe there are many ways to cook. I just don't think you should limit yourself. So I don't have a particular region. But I am unique when I say I make my own rubs and my sauces so I don't have to have those conversations. So because mine is different. Everybody said, man, yours is a little bit different. I said, yeah, I know it's a little bit different. I tell people, I have something in my rubs and my sauces that's probably in your kitchen that you don't even use. That's impossible. I'm just telling you I got some crazy stuff in I don't have a whole lot, but I got some stuff in there that makes you think, what is that? Well, you'll never forget it. You'll never figure it out. So I don't subscribe to a particular region. I try to encourage people to do your own thing. Like a lot of times I get on social media and I'll post stuff. Man, give me the recipe. I'm like, listen, I said, I'm going to say this. Don't take it personal. I said, but it took me 20 years to come up with this recipe for this rub and this sauce. And I'm now doing this as a living. What make you think I'm just going to give it away? I can't do that. I can't do that. I said, I will cook as much as you want, but I will share techniques. I share techniques all the time because techniques, that's what's going to help. But I try to encourage people, do your thing. Don't try to be like me. I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I'm not trying to be like Mo Cason. I'm not trying to, everybody, they all have their own lane. And I'm successful in my own lane. How many people you know are barbecue pitmasters that got a sponsorship with the Lexus dealership?
Yeah, that's a first.
Nobody.
That's a first.
You?
I'm unique. I got some other things on my schedule. I'm actually going to start shipping my oxtails and crack wings in July. My thing is I want to get to a point. I want to finish out June, and then I'm going to purchase a commercial vacuum seal. And I want to start doing that. And so that's another revenue stream that I haven't tapped into. But I know Les's Barbecue, he does it, and he does a great job at it. And I support that guy. I love to meet him. But I'm getting ready to start shipping. I got to be one step ahead of everybody else. And so I try to be unique. But as far as the flavor and different regions, I like to be my own. I don't even like to be associated with a particular region because it limits you. I want to be my own.
I know
what's wrong with salt
I'm
and
here in
pepper, though?
Columbia, South Carolina, and I'm going to take a trip up there to check out your barbecue. But I have a question before we get out of here.
Yes.
DoCo RibFest.
Yes.
Every time it goes down, I always miss it. This past year, it was supposed to rain, so I just decided not to go.
Yeah.
They had everything in the parking lot. It didn't rain, or it rain dried up. But what was that experience like? And I know you can't really compare it to country style, but from the video I saw, it looked like a pretty cool event. And I saw that you placed there. How often have you been to the DoCo RibFest? And, what could you say about it in comparison to other competitions?
Yeah. I would say out of other competitions, it's one of those sanctioned competitions by the SBN. It is a great competition. It's a great competition. I've competed in there 4 years. This year was the first year I didn't compete because I had a conflict. And the first time I competed was back in like 2019. I think they had maybe like 30 teams. I finished in the top 10. One thing about me, and I'm not saying this to be arrogant, but every competition I've ever competed in, I always finish in the top 10. And that was one of the competitions at a DoCo that I finished fourth and placed in the money. And I was like, oh Lord, I got a call. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And, but that competition, I like it because everybody's friendly there. Everybody's friendly there. And I have to be honest with you. The first year I did it, I was only one of three African-American barbecue pit teams there.
Yeah.
And the rest were, the rest were white. And I didn't have a problem with that. Everybody was cool. I'm not saying that to be racial or anything.
Right. Yeah.
But the first thing that came to me, I said, I know some brothers that could come here and do some damage. And so I started marketing. I started pulling everybody I knew, all those guys you just, I just ran down the list. I came to all of them. I said, man, come with me next year. Let's go. And now it's gotten, and this is a true story. This year, which was the year I missed, was the year that they had the most African-American teams.
Yeah, I saw that.
In DoCo. And then on top of that, the majority of the winners and places were African-American.
Yeah.
And so I don't think people paid attention to that. I don't think people paid attention to that. And that did my heart good. And that tells me, I'm like, listen, we belong in this thing.
Yeah,
Once we learn the technique part of this competition, we can take it over. We can do well. We can do well. So that's why I try to encourage people, but it's fun. It's not an all-nighter. They're just cooking ribs. I like that. It's quick. You can get there in the morning, knock out your ribs, and you're back home by that night. So it's a great competition. You learn a lot because they don't mind sharing techniques and information. And that's why I learned a lot of my techniques from DoCo. I'll give them credit for that. I love that competition.
Man, that's awesome. I'm glad that turned out the way that it did, man. But Chris, man, we're at the end, brother. Seemed like we just got going, man. But we get ready to wrap this thing up. We're gonna have to have you on here again, man. And
Yes,
Brother,
definitely.
we appreciate that list of future guests that you gave us, because we definitely gonna hit all those brothers up, man, and try to get them all here, man.
Trust.
Chris,
And they're all unique.
hey, we're looking forward to it. We're looking
Yes, sir.
forward
You
to it,
definitely
man.
can have them on the show.
And we will be seeing you soon down there at Country Style, man. But tell the folks where they can find you and on your socials and anywhere else you want to have them search you out.
Absolutely. I'm on Facebook. Just do a search on CJ's Barbecue and More, LLC. And that's the and sign and not the word and. On Facebook, on Instagram is just simply CJ BBQ More. And on YouTube is CJ's BBQ and More. I have a YouTube channel as well. My permanent pull-up spot here in Charlotte, North Carolina is in off of Independence Boulevard at the Cycle Gear. It's a motorcycle shop. So that's where I am usually on the weekends if I'm not catering. But the best way to find out where I'm going to be is to follow me on social media, Facebook and Instagram mainly, and stay in tune with where I'm going to be. I'll be announcing within the next couple of days where my next pull-up spots will be. If you need catering services, I do that as well. I travel to North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and Georgia. I have a couple of catering opportunities in Virginia this year, so I'm excited about that. But most importantly, just give me a call and let's have a conversation about it. But the most important thing is, if you're calling me about an event, let's talk about that date first. Let me check my calendar for availability, and then we can work toward everything else. But I just want to thank you, gentlemen, for having an outstanding platform, for inviting me on. I look forward to being on it again. If you'd like to have me on there, reach out to some of these guys that I mentioned, because I believe in sharing and being a blessing, because this whole life is about loving, giving, and serving. And the motto of my business, and I like to say this is I call my barbecue prayer, Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of smoke, I shall fear no other woman or man's barbecue. Why? Because CJ's Barbecue and More is blessed and highly flavored, baby. Come get some of them smoked oxtails. Come get some of them crack wings. I'm ready.
My man. I
Yes,
love
sir.
it.
Oh man.
Well, fellas, we got to let everybody know where to find us. We're going to start with our resident poet, T from T-Dub Barbecue. T, tell the good folks where they can find you, man.
You can catch me at tdub.bbq on all the socials, tdub-bbq on YouTube. And yeah, if you're into poetry, you can catch me at the Brown Sugar Cafe.
My man. Yes, and order T's book. He has a new book of poetry out. Paint is not only paintbrush. That's the latest one. And support that brother, man, and get yourself a little inner peace in your life. Enjoy that poetry, man. Charlie from Maverick Barbecue. Lay it on him, man.
Yeah, you can find me over on the socials everywhere. Everywhere you can find me on the socials at CharlieMaverick. And in the comments, a Black Smoke Barbecue podcast on YouTube. Holla.
My man. And then, of course, we have the Dog Father, the keeper of the grills, the keeper of all the grills. Al, tell them where they can find you, baby.
Man, you can find me right here on Barbecue Boulevard with my salt and pepper. I said it.
He's a little salty about that.
A hit dog will holler.
Hey, man, I just happen to love my salt and pepper, but I agree. You know, I cook with a lot of different flavors, but that salt and pepper, you know, it's my thing.
Nothing but love, brother. Nothing but love.
I hear you. But hey, you can find me on all the socials, YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Threads and all over. It's the DAWGFATHAS BBQ. Come holler at me.
My man. And then we have our fearless leader, world traveler extraordinaire, Geoff Boyd from Outdoors with Geoff. Geoff, tell them where they can find you, man.
You can find me at Outdoors with Geoff. That's GEOFF on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And Brandon, where can they find you at, sir?
They can find me and this luxurious man. Y'all soak it in. I'm going to give y'all a second. Look, it's plenty for everybody. I caught a glimpse of myself, man, midway through this pod, and I was like, good God. I was like,
Boy, stop.
Is this really happening? You can find all this pretty all over the place, except for Twitter X, whatever that is. I don't do that, but you can find me everywhere else. Look for BKC Cooks, and you will find us there.
Well, folks, it looks like another hour, 15 minutes has gone by. It seems like we just sat down and started. But Chris, we just want to thank you for coming on. Definitely look forward to meeting you next month. And folks, if you haven't subscribed to the Black Smoke Barbecue YouTube channel, please do so. Find us on Instagram, Facebook. We got some good stuff coming out. You know, I sat and I looked at the calendar today, and we got 5 more episodes already scheduled on the books, and we got some more folks coming, and we got some folks that you're really gonna find interesting. This is a labor of love for all of us here. I don't think you guys understand the joy I get sitting down talking to you guys every week. I look forward to this time, and I look forward to getting these stories out and hearing what folks have to say. So I just want to thank you guys. It means a lot to me and to the folks that listen. You know, we do this for you, and we appreciate you guys listening and tuning in to us. But on that note, this is the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
All right.
Later, y'all.
We out.